Okay,
Oh,
this is winter. Okay. So here, like the summer has started, the heat is eating up.
yes, yes.
Yeah, this
Spring
part
is
of the
coming.
yeah. It's,
Okay.
cool, man. We'll just go ahead now with the show.
Okay.
It's 8 now. Hi, good evening, one and all. Welcome to another interesting episode of my show, The Interviewer, hosted by Lakshman Rao and promoted by Fertile Brains, Prasanna Kumar. Today, my guest of our show is Isabell VanMerlin from North California. Well, ma'am, good evening. Thanks for being on my show. It's an honor and a privilege to know you as a person and as a poet. Here, we welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Laxman and Prasanna, okay, for introducing us and giving me this invitation. I really appreciate it. I think you guys with Fertile Brains are doing wonderful, wonderful work for poetry and for poets all over the world.
That's okay, ma'am. You can continue, ma'am.
Okay. So I appreciate it, even though it's very early in the morning here for me. Okay. So, um, so where are you, Lakshman? Where are you in India?
We are based out in Bangalore, the South India of India,
Yeah,
which is called as the Silicon City of India as well.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, like let me introduce you with a short bio to our audience here. Okay, here we go. Here I go here. Isabel has been writing poetry since the age of 13, and she has compiled 8 anthologies for over the years. She has published Turkish Odyssey and Epic Memoir of Working on an archaeological excavation and has written other non-fictional books. Isabel has been published several anthologies like The Descent, Drop Poetry, 34 Numbers, Anthologies 2020-2024 of the Center for New Americans, Kuch Behar Anthologies for Saurav Sarkar, Persian Sugar for, with English Tea, and many periodicals includes. She now lives in Northern California. She teaches creative writing and editing she does for herself and others. So this is a short bio of Isabell VanMerlin. Thanks, ma'am. Welcome to my show, The Interviewer. Here we go with the insightfulness of a poetic journey with you.
Thank you. Thank you,
So,
Lakshman.
yes, ma'am. Well, ma'am, this is not a podcast sort of show like the interview session show wherein like we try to explore the poet from a person and from a person a poet. Okay, so
Yeah.
there's different layers of a person I'm trying to tap in to know the person first. You know, so from a person, a poet evolves. This is what I believe.
Right. Well, it's it's funny. I started writing poetry really in 2008 because I moved into a building that of seniors, older people,
Okay.
and there was a
What age,
woman.
man? What age?
Pardon? Pardon?
At what age? What
Oh,
was your age at that point of time?
oh, 2008, I was 55.
So you started writing poetry at the age of 55?
Yeah, really. I don't know. I heard you say that I started writing at age 13. I
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where that came from. I mean, anyway,
Well,
I
that was from your bio itself. Well then, well just go ahead. Yeah.
I'm sorry, the rest of it sounded correct, but I don't know where
Okay.
the 13 came from. I mean, I've been writing, I've written book reviews, I've written articles for um the spiritual stuff. I wrote a book about muscle testing and nutrition in the late 90s. which I published, and it's body speak. But poetry, there was this woman in this building that I moved into, and she was Albanian and an excellent writer and journalist, but she didn't have a car. And she said, Isabell, please, will you take me to this open mic in town here? And it was every Wednesday night. And so I said, okay, Rosie, I'll take you. Right. So I started taking her, and it was like, I couldn't just go and sit there and listen. There was all kinds of people. It was lots of fun in Lynn, Massachusetts. So pretty soon I started writing so I could share at the open mic. So I've been writing poetry since then. Okay.
That's great to know. Ma'am, here, I just felt like in one of your interview sessions, like heard that, like you seem to be a vagabond, a gypsy sort of a person in your life. How did this all happen? And which is the best place to settle down if that's the case?
Right. Okay. Okay. And this book that I published for myself, because I don't think anybody else would publish it. It's nothing but rants and raves. It's about, I'm complaining about this. I'm complaining about customer service. I'm complaining about the government. I'm complaining about
Policies and all. Yeah.
and that's why I call it Volcano Verse,
Also,
because I'm erupting
erupting
all
from within.
my fire from the inside is coming out. So I try to be positive, okay?
That's
In
great.
life, I try to be positive.
But in the first poem, the language of my blood relates to your personal life about your mother and you as a child. Will you please elaborate a bit on the first poem?
Sure.
Yeah.
The language of my blood. I don't really want to write about this, much less sing the language of my blood. Writing about my first language? How about issuing flames of rage? My blood was boiling. I wanted vengeance, retribution, justice, retaliation. How about just acknowledgement? My mother was a word person. She used them incessantly, issuing forth from her mouth a constant, steady stream. If you tried to get your word in, she claimed poor hearing. How deep was the well? Who dug it? And how she could use those words. Heat-seeking missiles, always finding their target, my vulnerable heart. I was a vocal child whenever I was able. Her hearing problems very selective, I would say. Asking questions, not waiting for answers, yelling, accusing, I responding in kind. The English language is great when there is truth in it, even when there's not. Words can be sticks and stones may break my bones, and words can cut you to pieces, petrifying, fossilizing, turning to bone, stone, lasting forever.
That was awesome, ma'am. That was awesome. Like, in fact, I like the lines like here, you say like the English language is great when there is truth in it, even when there's not. That three lines like when there is truth in it and when there's not. You bring in a juxtaposition, a contradiction sort of thing, very like truth in it or not. But English language is great.
Right.
So that way, like it has its own charm of saying it. So that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
My mother,
yeah,
my mother and I never got along. She didn't, because I was not a boy. When I was born, I was supposed to be a boy to carry on the family name, and I wasn't. And she was very verbal, talked a lot.
We thought like only in the Indian subcontinent, Asian continent has this as is liking for a male child. But do you agree, like even in the Western countries, do you have the same concept? Like, do you have a male child to have a legacy?
I do. I I appreciate the legacy that I got from my mother of being uh, she was very smart, and she was intelligent and intellectual. She loved to
Oh,
read,
okay,
and she gave me a good vocabulary,
okay.
um, and interest, curiosity in things. She was a voracious reader, and I appreciate that from her. I
Oh.
think I got that, and the desire to express.
Well, ma'am, I heard that like you moved out of your house at a very early age. Was that to earn your own liberty, something?
I don't, okay, the early age, I I'm not sure. When I heard you say that I started writing at 13, I don't know. I don't know if that somehow it got mixed up in an email or something, but my dad died when I was 13,
Yeah.
and it
Okay.
totally changed my life. You know,
Hmm.
I have not been happy a lot of my life.
Okay.
And but I didn't write so much about it until later. Um, it's I didn't I didn't necessarily do well in English classes in school. I mean,
Hmm.
in high school, I lived in a small town, yes, I did fine, but when I got to college, it was like if I had to write an essay, I might make an A on it or I might make an F. You know, uh, I never knew. I never knew what
Okay.
I knew what I wanted to express, but it didn't always come out
Oh,
coherently.
you have very good expression. Like I read your poems, you have very beautiful expressions. Like I love this poem. Let me read it out for you. I'll just read it out for you. Don't tell me to love others when the last thing they want is to have their bubble of doubt and disdain, fear and fecklessness, arrogance and attitude. Disturbed by something like love, leave them in their yoga-induced peace and their static view. That was awesome lines, man. You had a very beautiful expression over there.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, uh,
So
yes,
while going through the lines, like we get catch hold of certain lines, like they give an impact on you, onto the readers, like whatever they like, they feel and they own it. So that sort of a line was that. So here in the other poem, you said like you want me to give you one line bio, then you don't like to what I write. So give me an insight of your poetic ideology. What is it? What is it like? If at all, if there's a poetic ideology about your poetry, so what would be that?
um, Laxman, I'm sorry, but I have a very difficult time understanding you because you speak very quickly, and your
Oh, well, then I'm sorry for that as well. you,
okay,
here you have your poem wherein you say like you want me to give you a one line bio,
right,
then
right.
you don't like what I write. It gives an insight of your poetic ideology. So let me know something about it.
Okay, okay. I've there've been a couple of times when there's been call for poems, submit your poem, whatever the theme is or something, but give a one line bio, only one line or only
Yeah.
50 words. And
Okay.
it's like, okay, and then maybe you don't like it.
Yeah.
Whoever I've submitted it to, maybe they don't like it. And I'm going to like, well, you know, what do you want me to say in a one line bio? You make it
Yeah.
up. You t you know, and you don't know anything about me, right?
Yeah.
How can I say in one line
Like, yeah.
all the all the wonderful things or all the bad things that I am. Yeah, yeah. Oh goodness. So I mean I've just see this particular book is about experiences
Yeah.
I've
Your
had,
experience.
right?
Yeah.
And they're mostly negative, right? And it's like people, we're here. My belief is that we are here to express who we are. I
True.
mean, Laxman, you are, you know, it's not, you're not just Indian, and you don't just do poetry and interviews, and you don't, you know, you are a unique individual.
True.
And no matter what language you speak or
Big.
what, you know, who your parents were or whatever, you are unique. And just being, I mean, looking at your face and hearing you speak and seeing the flower on your desk beside you, you know, you are unique. And
Ma'am. Every
we,
person has his own persona and his own aura that they brings out to the other person.
right, right. And poetry, whether we tell the truth or not in our poems, um, that's, it's like we're expressing ourselves. And I would
Yeah.
love everybody to realize how unique they are, and that we are all loved by God or Spirit or Ram or Shiva or whoever, you know, whoever your higher power is, whatever. Um, I just think, anyway, I so appreciate what you're doing and
Good. Thank you.
allowing us to speak. And that's what I wanted to do with my open mic, is to have other people express themselves.
So in this poem, why isn't anyone talking about staying healthy? A beautiful poem on being healthy. So please let me know about your health secrets, if that's the case.
Okay. Um, well, as I said before, well, my mother was very interested in nutrition, and
Okay.
I call her a health food freak, way back, you know, in the 50s and so forth. And I'm really glad she was interested in good food, vegetables, um, uh, you know, good food to be healthy. And um, I, it's like I do not like Western medicine. I so appreciate Ayurvedic medicine because it's promoting health, not, you know, not treating symptoms with drugs, right? So it's, I mean, how can we be the best we can be if we're always sick? And America has terrible food, terrible stuff. Our food is a business. It's a corporation. It's not
Yeah.
about,
It's like a corporate food.
right, right. Yeah. And so,
It's like a corporate food, more of a corporate food than of a family food.
right. And I look around me, and I mean, especially people my age, that if they're still alive, they have nothing but aches and pains. And
Hmm.
this is wrong and that's wrong and so forth. And I understand we're all going to age, but I look at the children, and the children are not healthy. They're they're too fat. They have diabetes. They have blah blah. And it breaks my heart. It's like, please, you know, we have to, if we're going to be here on the planet, we have to be in our bodies at least part of the time.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
In the beginning of the session, you said Namaskaram. Then you came to Ayurveda. Okay. And then there's this one word in the poem, like you call it as Telugu Sangam. So, in what way are you connected with Indianness?
Indian culture and so forth.
Yeah.
Okay. My first spiritual teacher is a woman named Edwene Gaines. She's a Unity minister, and she had traveled with a man, Jim Hagen, American man, who traveled in India and Nepal and so forth for years after he graduated from college. And he's a great photographer. Well, this man was giving tours. He became a Tibetan Buddhist, and he gave tours in India. My first trip to India was with him and my teacher, Reverend Gaines, in 2007. And we arrived in Kolkata, and then we went to Darjeeling, and we went to Sikkim, and that was my first trip to India with him. And then my daughter fell in love with an Indian, with an American-born Indian. And so my son-in-law he's Hindu, he's a Patel. They live here in California. Okay, he was
That's where the
born.
Indian connection is all about.
So then, but I've been to India twice more with Jim Hagen, and I've also been to Nepal and Tibet, and I love the culture. I'm vegetarian, okay, because
Nice to know.
for my health,
Okay.
so it's a long history for me, but I so love India and, well, what I know of it, and you guys are
Cool. That's nice to know. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So culture and tradition, like we put all this, I have to say, like that starts from what we eat, you know, like
Yeah.
what we eat and what we think and what we write and what we wear. So
Right.
culture, tradition, everything starts with the basic meal. That is what I feel so. So here in India, like most, I can't say like most of them, like at least say about 1/4 of them are vegetarians. So India gives the word ahimsa, and that's where it's not that way. Like we are deeply rooted through vegetarianism as well. Like Indians have been very deeply rooted for Vedic cultures and Vedic scriptures. So that is what we have learned through ages, like to practice vegetarianism. So that's nice and fantastic to know about you that you are a vegan as well.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
great, man. That's great.
and what I love and so appreciate and respect is that Hindus, at least, have respect or reverence for all life.
Yeah.
And that, to me,
From birth to death. Yeah. True.
it makes me feel kind of bad for vegetables, though, because I think vegetables are very smart and sensitive, more so than animals.
So how did you come with this word Telugu Sangam? Sangam in the sense that like it's a confluence of all things. Sangam. So you got this word from your son-in-law,
So I'm sorry, the word you're
Telugu
saying,
Sangam. In your
Sangha.
poem, you brought in the word Telugu Sangam in one of your poem. Yes, it's there.
I don't know that word.
It's there in your book.
Wh-
Uh,
Which
I,
one?
I'll just find it out for you.
Okay. Because I don't know that
Page
word.
number 28.
38,
28, 28,
13,
28.
28.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't find Universe of Pose, which looks almost the same. So this is Telugu Sangam.
It's the name of a typeface.
Okay.
I don't know what it means.
Okay. So
It's
yeah, when I
what
went through your book, so yeah,
what does that mean? I mean, what language is Telugu Sangam?
Telugu is a language of its own. Like Telugu is a typical South Indian language.
Okay, South Indian.
Telugu. South Indian
Like,
language, and Sangam means a confluence of or congregation of one culture or one language.
okay,
So, so I felt like you have brought in these words in your poetry. So that is the reason, like I thought of asking you this question.
right, right. Well, listen, it's hopeless. I would love to learn some Hindi or Gujarati or something, but it's I think it's hopeless because I won't have the chance. My daughter's mother-in-law, we're very close. We do a lot together, and she speaks Hindi and of course and
Okay,
Gujarati and understands some of
great
it.
to know.
But this poem is about, it starts out speaking of faces, you know,
Okay,
but then I'm talking about typefaces that, like Times New Roman and
yeah.
Braggadocio. And so this Telugu Sangam is, it's just the name of a typeface. And I didn't know what
Okay,
it meant.
okay. You see how things go out, like when your book is out, like different persons and different perspectives come into place, you know.
Right, right. And it's fascinating to me. It's just fascinating. Yeah.
So in this poem, the freaking greedy pharma companies, not to mention their insurance lackeys. So say something about your about this poem, man. The
About
freaking greedy pharma companies.
about faces or
So
which one?
about this poem, the freaking greedy pharma companies.
Okay, can you tell me what page?
Page number 1 second.
Okay, can you tell me what page? Oh, 21?
Yeah,
Is
21.
okay. My anger hasn't turned to scathe yet, only because it's illegal. And how can I harm a big corporation? But they get away with it. The freaking greedy pharma companies, not to mention their insurance lackeys. The benefits are less and less, the premiums more and more. Does my dental insurance cover damage from grinding my teeth? I could think of a single shot vaccine that would protect us from them, but I'd have to get a license, and distribution could be a problem. FDA, well, the paperwork would take lifetimes, fiduciary tables being constantly revised from longevity shortening and shortening. See, this is my complaint
Yeah.
about Western medicine and insurance and all this. The US is the only industrialized nation that
Nation.
does not have national health.
Hmm.
We have no, there's,
National
we
security
can't,
sort of thing in terms of health insurance.
yeah, it's,
Okay.
and the pharmaceuticals, the drug companies,
Okay.
they control the
Hmm.
insurance,
Hmm.
and they control the doctors. And it's horrible. It's just
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
So,
So you try to bring in all these aspects, like this another poem wherein you say like petroleum economy. Well, there's
right.
this mechanical poem sort of thing. So how do you bring in these mechanical figurative speeches into your poetry? Either you bring in petroleum economy or as the insurance lackeys. So how do you get triggered with these notions?
I, just by being alive. I mean,
Just being alive.
just being an American, living
Just
here.
being a
I
part
mean,
of it. Yeah.
I'm not I'm not one to accept things that I don't like. I
Yeah.
don't, I want to
Great.
fight.
Yeah,
I
you are a
mean,
warrior. You
well,
have poetic spirit. You have a warrior poetic spirit than a warrior spirit.
yes.
Yeah,
And I'm an old hippie. See,
yeah,
I was born and raised in South Carolina, which is on the East Coast, right?
yeah.
In the South. Okay, and like I was saying, my mother and I never got along. So when I was 20, I was a senior in college. I ran away
So
from
this is what I
to
asked you in
save
the
my
first
mother.
few questions.
and I came to California. And
Okay.
this was Vietnam era. And
Oh,
so my friends were being drafted and they were resisting. And really, when I came out here, I didn't know much about politics. Um,
politics. Yeah.
I mean, my family, I don't know, we didn't talk about it much and so forth. Well, so I, it was all of a sudden, I was, I just I learned all this stuff about what the government was doing and not doing, what was going on. And it was like coming into a whole new world. And I'm against war. I'm against guns. I'm against most of what I've discovered that my country has done. So anyway, and it's a petroleum economy. Everything is based on oil, right?
On oil. Yeah. Once the prices of the oil shoots up, like everything shoots up. Like it's a petroleum economy. That's the reason your title, I believe.
Right.
Yeah,
And
that's great.
my dad was a mechanical engineer,
Okay.
so I got a lot of his um I don't know, logical thinking or something, I don't know, but awareness.
Yeah. So I have a poem of yours like politics. So what's your take on the present political scenario of the world?
Wait, okay, again, I'm sorry, I don't understand the
So
which poem you're
you have a poem on politics. You have one
politics.
poem on politics. So what's your take on the political scenario of the world?
I am so I am so afraid,
Okay.
disgusted,
Yeah.
worried for this planet, not just our country, but the being that is our president and his sidekick, his lackey.
Mm, mm,
Um, they're just okay. Everything that doesn't look like love is fear.
mm,
And those, particularly the president, is severely damaged. He is a
mm,
very damaged human being.
mm.
And I think that it's the, it's got to come to a head.
Okay.
The terrible politics, the terrible corruption, all the terrible things that have been going on. And it's a cycle. I know it's going to happen again because the planet is not perfect. We we are perfect, but we don't realize it. And we're here to learn how that we are perfect and to become spiritual beings. But what what we all have to suffer through to get there, to get to the other side, to I mean, I believe in reincarnation. It's just I don't want to come back if the world is going to be like this more. And I know it will be. It's just the politics, it's, I mean, the greed comes from fear. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have enough. I can't, you know, I can't pay my rent. I can't raise my kids. Okay. And when there's enough money in their pockets, then they want power. They want
Yeah.
control. Okay. And it's
Ma'am,
all
if at all, if at all the poets have given a chance to become politicians, so how will poetry change the politics?
because we speak out.
We
Okay.
speak out from the heart and the mind,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
on a humanitarian route.
Right.
We bring in the universalism, we bring in the humanism into the picture of the national fabric of the nation, right? This is
Yes.
what you can feel and say so.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of being greedy or a politician, we may try to be as much as humans can be. What the basic needs for human needs to be fulfilled. So that is what the basic elements the poets can derive to the citizens of the nation,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
we have to feed our bodies, and we have to feed our brains and our hearts. The heart-brain connection is well known. And if we can speak through from our hearts, through our brains and our mouths and our words, then yes,
Namaskaram.
namaskar. I hope, I hope.
So, ma'am, coming to the fag end of this session, like, what would be your favorite lines from your own poetry book?
Okay. I wrote a haiku a long time ago.
Haiku.
It's not in this book,
Okay.
but okay, the haiku is there's no cure for love.
There's no cure for love.
There's no cure for love, and
Okay.
there's nothing but love.
There's nothing but love.
So get over it.
So get over it. So it's there. Like in the last lines, we have it. No one gets out of, no one gets out unscathed. So get over it. Okay. This is another line, I believe.
But it's like accept the fact that there's nothing but love. You know, don't turn it into fear. Don't turn it into anger. Don't turn it into blaming somebody else or something else. Just accept it and do love. Be love. Love. Give love. Okay, because that's what
Be
we are.
love, give love, be love,
Yes.
give love.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a wonderful statement, ma'am. That's a wonderful statement for the universalism. That's a big statement for the universalism to love, to give love, and be love. You know,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's wonderful. That's wonderful to have a session with you, ma'am. Like I feel honored and blessed to have a session with you. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank, thank you so much, Lakshman. I really, really am honored and I appreciate it. Yes. And love.
So
Be
yeah,
love. Okay.
yeah, no, namaskaram. Thanks a lot.
Namaste.
Signing off from India,
Okay.
Bangkok.
All
Thanks.
right. Bye-bye.